I'm going to be teaching us a non-Natalie Bray method of drafting this fitted sleeve and semi-fitted sleeve we just drafted now. So at the end of the day, we will have a less curvy underarm seam like we have here. That is the whole essence of this method, and this is the method I use for my sleeve. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure 3 cm on both the underarm seam, like I said, 3 cm. At the side, 3 cm here, to reduce the measurement, the width of the pattern, of the sleeve pattern. So you're going to come in what we're doing is a semi-fitted sleeve. We'll do the semi-fitted sleeve first, because we're going to use the semi-fitted sleeve to get the fitted sleeve. So what I do is to make sure by the time I'm connecting my U here to the hem of the sleeve, I make sure that I have at least half of my arm elbow length plus ease, at least 1.5 or 1 inch. So for instance, my elbow width is 31. So 31 is 15.5. And I have at least 1.5. So I make sure when connecting that I have that ease around that part, so I don't just connect it carelessly. So what you can do is to just, after measuring your 3.3 cm at the hem, you can now measure your width, the width of your, this is not showing 15.5, the width of your elbow length, then you mark 1.5. That will serve as a guideline to connect. So connect. So 3 cm. The next thing I need to do is to cut through point E to T. So we're going to cut through point E to T and to the hem of T. So I'm going to cut like this. You can cut to this place and continue from here, or you come here, because you're totally separating it. You're separating the pattern, not leaving. So it's going to be like this, or you can actually cut and leave some CM here, because we're going to overlap. After doing that, you take your tape or ruler, you come to this point T, the right side here, you measure 4 cm and you mark 4 cm. Then you take this, you overlap. You overlap 4 cm. You're going to secure, we are creating a dart here, so you're going to put a paper underneath it to get the dart. Tape it down. Make sure that this is okay. So yes. Tape it down 4 cm. So you tape this down also. So after taping it down, the next thing you need to do is to get half of that measurement to recreate a shorter dart. So half of that measurement, because these lines are going out. So from here to here we have 17 cm. So you're going to get half of 17 cm. Chisel. So this is where half of 17 cm stops. So you're going to create a new dart. You're going to rule this first dart first. You outline the longer dart. Then on this place where you have half of it, you check what you have, the width here, and divide it into 2. So here I have 1.25. So I'm going to divide it into 2. 5 point something here, my ruler. Then you create a new dart. A shorter dart. So this will be your new dart. This is now your new dart. The next thing to do is to through this dart, through it, take it and through it. Connect this first before throwing it all. So this is the new dart. So if you want to sew it in, you sew. If you want to sew the dart at the elbow length, you sew it. You sew from here to this point. But if not, the next thing to do is to cut this out. This is how it's going to look. Less curvy, straight on, a bit straight here, not straight, slanted a bit, and it's not as curvy as the Natalie Grace method. As you can see, this part is really curvy, and this side has that curve effect. At the end of the day, it gives you different finishing when you sew your sleeve. It's something you should try and see the difference. I've done that, and I can tell you there's a lot of difference. So now, if you want this place, like we said when we did the other semi-fitted sleeve, if you want it more fitted, you just have to take it in by the amount that you want, the amount of width you want around your wrist. So for example, I wanted mine smaller, so what I did, I calculated the amount of the width that I wanted, and I subtracted what I have here. So the balance I had was 3.7. So 3.7. So I'll have to figure out how do I want this 3.7 to be, because this side, if you check when you're done, this side is sorry, before we do that, I forgot to rule. After getting your dark line, you need to rule your new T line. So your new T line will start from here to this point. So it's on this line to this point where the 4 cm overlaps this one. So you just take your ruler and rule your new T line. So this is your new T line. So by the time you're done ruling your new T line, you realize that this side is smaller. The width around this side is smaller. So this is about 12.2 cm, while this is about 17 cm. So what I did, how did I remove my 3.7 cm I had that I had, because I said I wanted to reduce the width of the sleeve. So I took 1 cm here, then I took the remaining one here, 2.7 cm here. So I took it here, I connected back to this side. Use the broken line, connected back to this side, to the point where I have my my elbow length. Then from here to I connected. So that way you have a reduced width. Checked it, showed it was fine. There was no. So what you do, you give more to this side because this has more, then you give less to this side. When we're doing the other not semi-fitted, fitted, we actually gave more to this side. So I don't want to compare this, but this is very simple. All you have to do is, the first thing you do, get your 3 cm measurement here. Then after that, you slash open from point E to T. Then you overlap by 4 cm. You align your dart, shorten it, rule a new T line, and that's it. Very simple. This sleeve pattern works perfectly for if you're making. I've tried it with my suit jacket with one piece sleeve. I did a one piece sleeve jacket. It was fine. The only thing I did was to raise the crown by 1.5 cm so that it sits very well on my shoulder when I used it for my jacket. So this is perfect. It fits very well. Then if you don't want to take this dart like we did in the other one, all you have to do is to come measure. Now the value of this dart is not as much as the other one, so measure 2.5. The value here is 2.5 cm. So you come here, you measure 2.5 cm. Then you connect. Just and you cut this piece off. It's going to be like this. You cut it off. So this is how your sleeve is going to be like. Of course, when you're cutting, you make sure you mark your balance mark. Balance mark. Let me trace this out. So just balance mark 7.5 at the top, 5 cm at the down. This is my line. Mark 7.5 at the top and 5 cm here. So when you cut, you make sure that your balance mark, they meet. Sewing it, what I did was to gather a bit by the side. I just sewed thread here, so it gathered with loose stitches. It gathered on its own. So by the time I was joining it, I had to push it in a bit, and when I was done, it was looking more like a straight sleeve. Of course, I still had space for my elbow to fit in properly, comfortably. So this is the semi-fitted sleeve in non-Natalie Bray method of semi-fitted sleeve. So that's about this. Then we're going to use this. We're going to trace this out, and we're going to use this to create our fitted sleeve. So see you in the next class. Fitted sleeve. We're going to be using the semi-fitted sleeve pattern for the non-Natalie Bray method to achieve this fitted sleeve. So this is the traced out semi-fitted sleeve pattern. So the first thing you're going to do is to get 1.25 centimeter here, at the U, P, underarm. Just mark the side of the sleeve. Just mark 1.25 centimeter to get an accurate guideline. So do the same thing to this side. You mark 1.25 centimeter and you're going to roll it down. So you roll it down. After getting the 1.25 cm, you roll it and you shade to indicate that this is going to be taken out. So the next thing we're going to do is to slash this T line this T line that we have here to the from the hem to the T and overlap it by 1 cm. So I'm going to measure 1 cm here and overlap. cm. And I'll overlap it, step it down and overlap it. Take this and put it here. Make sure it's equal at the tip. And you tape it down. After overlapping it, I've taped it down, overlapped it. The next thing you need to do is to now close this dart. Now, this is if you want a design. If you want your dart to be on this line. So the next thing, let's do it the proper way. The next thing to do is to close this dart, but before then you're going to rule a line from this point where the dart is straight down. Then you're going to slash it open. To this point, then you close this 2.5 cm that I will have here. Crease it so that you get it sharp, the shape of the dart. And you tape this down. So you're going to, the dart has been transferred here. You're going to now line the dart, and of course you're going to shorten it. Let me quickly rule my balance mark, 5 cm, 7.5 up here. I need to take this, so then my balance mark 5 cm, 7.5. So you close it. So this is your balance mark. So you're going to align this dart to this point. So you rule. You're going to shorten the dart. On this balance mark, you rule a new dart leg, a new dart. That way the dart is shortened. That's the point where you sew your new dart. So what this gives is that pointed shape at the elbow, which gives ease at the elbow point at the back. So this is what like I said, it gives ease at the point at the back. This is what it looks like. So by the time you wear it, there's ease at the back. This is it. This is the dart at the back. So this is what it looks like. Okay. Then if you, this can be used to design your sleeve. It gives, like, it has, you can use it to design your sleeve pattern. You can also choose not to include the dart. So what do? All you have to do is to unpin the dart, this dart, and close this dart back, and close it back. Then you take out the 2.5 cm dart. Of course, you know the width of this is not going to be as, it's not going to be the same width as this. You take out the 2.5 cm here, then you cut the effect, you cut it out. What you're going to have is, if you decide to cut it use this method, that is tracing this out, tracing out the 2.5, this dart here, taking it out from at the hem, you will still achieve the same thing. But when you're cutting, if you need to cut this sleeve, it is very very important you cut it on the bias form, and I will show you what it is to cut it bias form. That way it has bias form, or you use bias form on a woven fabric, those fabric that doesn't stretch at all. So you cut it in bias form, it gives you a bit of stretch. But if you're using stretchy fabric that stretch on one side or the other side, depending on the pattern, you have to figure out how to work with it. If it has borders and patterns all over it, you might want to consider cutting it in bias form, even if it's stretchy, or cutting it the way your pattern is on the fabric, following the pattern of the fabric. So now this is what it is. This is the straight, this side of this fabric is not stretchy, that is the straight grain. On this side, this is the hem side of the fabric, and this is the width side of the fabric. So this part is not stretchy. They are not stretchy like this, and this side is not stretchy. So cutting this sleeve is stretchy. You can see it's stretchy. It's stretchy. What I did, I had to place it like this. This is like this is bias. Want to cut flare, you place it like this in form of flare. So this is how I placed it, and I cut. By the time I was done cutting, this place is stretchy and this side is stretchy, so I have that stretchy effect. So even though the measurement has been reduced to an extent, like my elbow width was 31, then we know that if we're doing fitted, we don't need any ease around it. Now I have 30 cm. It has been reduced by 1 cm, but cutting it in bias form gave me that stretchy, that ease around my arm. It's not tight, it's not so tight as it is. And another thing you should know, another thing I do when I want to cut my pattern is to add, so we're going to take this place off first of all, in order to achieve a very nice shoulder, finishing at the shoulder of the sleeve, something like this, around the shoulder. I had to add, for this fitted sleeve, I had to add 1.5 cm at the crown, 1.5 cm here at T. That way I can now draw, the gathers, so it gathers around the tip of the sleeve. So like I said, I've used 1.5 cm. I raised my the crown of my sleeve. That way I will have this finishing at the shoulder, this finishing. So in order to achieve that, I'll go up by 1.5 cm. We can go up by 2 also, but I've tried 1.5 cm. It works for me. You can also go up by 2, but I don't think you should exceed more than that before you start having the puffy effect around the sleeve. What this does is to, by the time you're done, it gives you that when you gather it, it sits properly the way it's sitting here. So you raise it by 1.5 cm. I used 1.5 cm here. You can raise by 2. Then you connect from B, point B, connect like this. You can also use your curve. Use your curve to get so you just cut. What this does, you just gather from here, then it will give you that effect. It's not so, don't gather it too much, just gather the fabric and loose gathering, and you try to set your sleeve on your bodice, then see if it is aligning properly. Then you can now sew. It will give you this effect here. To give you this effect. Excuse me. To give you this effect like this. So that is, this is how I did this, and this does not have a dart. This sleeve does not have a dart. I used the other method that I explained. I closed this dart and trimmed out the excess. So this is it. This can be used as a style line to decorate your sleeve. So that's that about the non-Natalie Bray method of our fitted sleeve. As you can see, this is fitted, and the Natalie Bray method has the curvy effect. This is what the Natalie Bray method looks like, and this is what this looks like. So at the end of the day, I have a sleeve that is not giving me the curvy bulge, because it gives you a curvy bulge at the side seam. So I usually don't use this method. So this is what I work with. then I achieve what I want to achieve. So if you don't want this part, like I said, you take it out. You can hold your dart also if you want. So that's that about this. Like I said, we cut it in bias form. Place your fabric and cut it in bias form. It gives you that ease. So that's that about this method. See you in the next class.